What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another Nick 4K video. Today we're checking out a video from Chon Digital, and his video is called Why We Were Wrong About Video Rental Stores. Let's check it out.
Nothing says movie night like switching between 12 different streaming services to find the movie you want, only to realize that the subscription you need ended back when Obama was still in office. The sad truth is that it wasn't always this hard. You used to just ask a human being for Planet 51 instead of typing it out on a one-line keyboard. The video rental store was the place where dreams came true, if your dreams were about microwave popcorn and American Girl doll movies. Now that they've been gone for a while, people are starting to realize, I think we jumped onto the streaming thing a little too quickly. Today I want to go over what made video rental stores so special, the deeper beauty behind them as a concept, and share with you some stories about what people truly miss about video rental stores. Now let's be kind and rewind. Okay, that was a little too far. You're just making it worse. Never mind. Never mind. The first thing about video rental stores is that they're a physical place. That means this could happen to you at them. You're actually there. You can see all the covers. You could walk up to the DVDs and read the back of them. Hell, you and your friends could split up, divide and conquer, try to find the best movie instead of all being crammed together on a couch to the point where your nuts are turning purple scrolling through Netflix together. What sticks out most about this whole physical thing is that these stores had a limited selection. Humans are only human. You give us too many options, we'll freeze up and choose Rush Hour 2 again. When given a limited selection, not only is it easier to choose what you want to watch, but you feel more satisfied with your decision. There's no urge to go from Netflix back into Disney Plus because, I don't know, maybe they dropped Chicken Little 2 while we were in Netflix for 15 minutes.
I also want to state that a big thing about this is, for those of you, maybe there's probably some people watching that are like too young to really remember the video stores in their heyday, but it was kind of like an event for not just you, but also for like friends. And what I mean by that is, like, you'd be hanging out at your house and you would get like a phone call from a friend like, hey, my mom let me rent Star Wars Revenge of the Sith. Like, it just came out on DVD. You don't have it yet. We haven't seen it since the movie theaters. I'm inviting everybody over. We're gonna have a big watch party. And of course the screen itself was probably like 24 inches, so you can't really see it. But back then, that was part of the experience. You know, like, we were going over there, their mom was going to get us pizza. So not only are you watching a movie, but you're also experiencing hanging with your friends and shooting the shit and having a great time. When it comes to streaming, everyone has streaming. And so it was like, okay, well, you know, instead of it being an event thing, it's just kind of like, hey, did you watch that movie that came on streaming? Yeah, cool. And that's just kind of the end of it. But before it was like, hey, I got the movie in, come on over. We have to interact for us to be able to see this movie and talk about it. So I think there was a level that we lost when it came to stuff like that. And another thing that Blockbuster did, and this is not really for movies, obviously, this is for video games, but Blockbuster also let you rent video games for like 2 days or 5 days or 7 days. I don't remember exactly. I think you could choose between all of those. I don't remember 100%. You could like rent the newest game for $7 and then your friends could come over and play there too. So there was that level of communal that you kind of lost. And when it came to like going to the actual video stores and seeing other movie fans and, you know, shooting the shit with them as you talk about different movies, the only real downside when it came to like these video stores was that you didn't always have the thing you're looking for in stock. So like when something first came out, they always had it there, but you know, it usually went out right away. But it's one of those things, like, you might go for one thing and then you'd find another thing. So it wasn't all negative, but from that perspective, you could say it was negative. You were really looking forward to seeing this one movie, and now it's all, you know, rented out for the week. You got to wait, and so you pick something else, and you might pick something worse, but usually you did find something that was like, okay, I'll give this a shot. I wasn't originally going to give this a shot, and it's pretty good. You know, there's a bunch of pros and cons to both sides of the argument, but yeah, there's something about that magic of that time. It's one of those things that I always say when it comes to like nostalgia, is like, you had to be there. You know, like, to really understand how amazing the time was, you had to be there. It's like how I say the Xbox 360 in its heyday, like circa 2007 to 2010, you had to be there. If you weren't there, you're just not going to get it. So, you know, that's just my opinion, but we'll continue the video.
On the topic of Netflix and streaming, What happened to movie quality? I was watching Zootopia the other day, and anytime a scene would be like half dark, it looked like a live leak video. The bitrate is just so awful, and for those people who put up the bitrate video for people who don't understand what bitrate is.
Video bitrate is a very subjective measure.
That shit does not happen with the physical DVD. I don't want to dwell on streaming because I've talked about this before, but whoever invented the autoplay feature on the homepage of Netflix or all the apps now, whoever invented that should have their hands super glued to a donkey's butt. I don't know, just something really bad. Like when the donkey poops, it goes in their mouth. That person sucks so bad. Not to mention the recommended system. When you search something and something else comes up, then thank you so much. Now everyone's gonna disagree on what we're gonna watch. If you like fedoras but hate lag, aka you're a gamer just like me, then you know that video rental stores offered something that is non-existent today: magnesium lollipops. That was for my stand-up set on Mercury. I don't know how that got in here. I meant to say video game rentals. The closest thing we have to video game rentals now is Xbox Game Pass. But that's like cleaning an elephant with a toothbrush when you could just shove that thing in a car wash. I don't want to wait hours for a game to download. You were able to just find a game, rent it out, pop it in, no subscriptions, no downloads. I'm aware that all physical games need a download now, but this point still stands. I would rather have to download a quick update than 150 gigabytes of some stupid fucking game. I also have something called a life, so my hard drive is too filled with Rhett and Link fanfiction to fit something as pointless as 120 gigabytes of The Witcher 3. I've played more games that I don't own from Blockbuster than games that I do own from my own Steam library. I don't know how long I've owned Lego City Undercover, aka Lego GTA, but I know I've played Poke Park, which isn't even in my house, more than that. I used to always rent Just Dance because I was too embarrassed to own it, but I still knew that my little body needed to express itself through rhythm. There really is no good way to transition from that, so let's start talking about the convenience of rental stores. Video rental stores had everything you needed for a proper movie night all in one place, excluding friends. They wouldn't let you rent out a person for just one night. Yeah, I could go to Walmart and get candy, popcorn, and a tire while I'm there, but it's not as special as getting the former two from a Blockbuster. My Blockbuster had cool gaming candy I couldn't find anywhere else, and you know, my flippy hair, YouTube watching, girl repelling, cargo shorts wearing, goofy ass was so hyped about that. I loved going to the checkout line after picking a movie and looking at all the snacks and grabbing something there. Blockbuster, and I assume Hollywood Video and all those other places, had everything you needed in one place, including awkward employees who gave you solid recommendations, but not enough eye contact. I don't think I've ever watched a movie
you had to be
me
there.
by an algorithm.
You just had to
Those
be there
clankers
to
have
get
a
it.
place in our lives, but them trying to recommend me anything Jonah Hill related after I finish Napoleon Dynamite is hallucination at its absolute worst. I think talking to people is the best way to find stuff you like, and consulting a minimum wage employee is always more fun than scrolling through Netflix, and at least it can hear you when you get mad at it. Having actual workers you could talk to and ask questions is nice, and why wouldn't you want to look a human in the eyes while checking out Serbian film? Video rental stores.
I just realized he has Food Fight in the background. For those of you who don't know, Food Fight is known as like one of the worst cash grabby, just awful films of all time. I didn't even know that it was on DVD. So that's a rare find in my opinion. I respect it.
Allowed us to connect with people, not only employees, but other customers. So you could say,
I love the Superhero Squad show. Want to see my Infinity Sword?
for many people, these places became hangouts. You could meet people, see what other people were watching, get a restraining order, and even get recommendations from other customers or employees. There was a culture around video rental stores, and it was becoming a ritual in our lives. The real beauty in video rental stores was in the ritual of it all, and not this kind of ritual.
Now show us your devil stones. Your balls, take out your balls.
Movie night was an event. My senior prom was less memorable than the night I rented Jack and Jill from Blockbuster and watched it on a laptop with my dad and brother. You had to go somewhere to initiate movie night. Movie nights don't feel like movie nights anymore because there's no event to it. You go from watching Family Guy sexy moments on YouTube to Schindler's List on the same device in like 2 clicks.
Yeah, that's what I was talking about too. There was a level of hey, we're gonna pick up maybe 1 or 2 movies. I remember like with my parents when I was a lot younger, it'd be like we're gonna go pick up. Actually, they picked up 3 movies. They picked up 1 for my sister, 1 for me, and then 1 for like an adult one for them. I don't know, maybe like an action film. I'm hoping an action film. I remember I wanted to watch Vin Diesel's Triple X, so they got that for me, and then my sister wanted to watch Baby Geniuses. And so effectively, what it came down to was by the time we got back from Blockbuster, we had to only watch one movie and then we had to go to bed. So my parents had me and my sister do best out of 3, rock, paper, scissors, and she won. So we ended up watching Baby Geniuses. I actually ended up liking it, and I liked it more than Triple X, which is funny. I like Triple X, but strange enough, Baby Geniuses was more down my alley. But then again, I was like 7, so I probably shouldn't have been watching Triple X in the first place. But it was an event, you know, you committed to it. It wasn't just like, hey, there's thousands of movies to pick from. If you don't like it, we'll just switch to something else. You have to commit to go to the rental store. You have to commit to pick a movie. And then you have to commit to watch that movie within the recommended time. And you have to pay like a late fee, which was always like double the price of what you initially paid just to rent. So there was a commitment to it. And I think in that perspective, that's what made it so much more special. Because like I said, and it's one of those things I don't really have to even say, we should all just know this. It is nice to be able to have any movie at the click of a button ready to go. Like, it's really hard to say that the old way was better. But I will say the old way had a magic to it that the new way just cannot capture, because there's like no magic to the new way at all, if that makes sense. I don't know. Like I said, this could all just be my opinion, but that's how I feel.
A vibe to going to a rental store. That's why we're so nostalgic for it. Does seeing this do anything for you? Unless you got a weird thing for old UIs, I'm positive your junk didn't even move an inch. Every time we'd go to Blockbuster, I'd do a loop, peek at the R-rated stuff, check out the new drops, get mesmerized by all the different covers around the store, then head over and actually pick a movie. Meanwhile, my little brother would be looking at the video games or the TV section and grabbing some Sonic or Mario cartoon. We would typically both decide on one movie, each grab a game, maybe some candy or snacks at the checkout line, then head home and pop that puppy into a laptop to enjoy the film. Puppy being the DVD, not like an actual puppy. That's illegal and probably not possible. All these little things would get our little brains into movie night mode, and I think a lot of people can agree this is what made movie night feel like an event. You weren't sitting on your ass hunting through a bunch of streaming services to find Hoodwinked 2. It was right there next to Hereditary for some reason. It also wasn't like you had instant access to any movie at any time. You had to drive to a special place with a specific look, smell, and feel to it. I just realized my copy of Bruce Almighty is actually a Blockbuster copy. I know it's not that rare, but I just thought it was funny that I picked up this movie and it happened to be from Blockbuster, and from 2004 nonetheless. You would pick up, feel, and read over a physical DVD box, and cranking your hog to an adult film on DVD just feels more authentic. Movie night to me is not just about the movie. Big surprise. It's about the memories and experiences around the whole night. Let me put it like this. We can get food delivered to our front door with like 2 clicks. Yet we still decide to dine out. It's not about the end product. It's about the context and the shared rituals we go through to get to it. With everything becoming ultra convenient to the point where you don't need to leave your house to do anything anymore, I think we're losing a lot of what makes us human. Okay, I went a little too deep there. I think it's important to go out and interact with the world and its people. That sounds like such a normal thing to say, but you'd be surprised how many people don't agree. It's fulfilling to have these rituals that make us who we are, even if it's something as simple as a building we go to get movies from. And what's not to love about driving somewhere, scavenging the whole place for a movie, paying for it, driving home, only to find out that it's basically piss the movie. Before we wrap, I wanted to see which of these movies tastes most like its plot. I'm just kidding. I'm on a diet right now. Sometimes when I make these videos, I don't know if I'm completely off base, to be honest. I do my research. I try to see what people are saying and what's going on in the world, like objectively. If a science research needs to be read, I will read through the results of it. I do like to think that I'm typically on the mark with these things. I mean, most of this shit is opinion-based, but when it comes to truth, I try to be as close as possible. What I'm trying to say is I wanted to see if I was completely off base with this. I wanted to talk to people and see if the things that I missed about video stores were really things that people cared about. So after asking around, this is what I found out people really miss about video rental stores.
I miss putting the tape down the chute, and inside it was cozy, cool carpet. And I liked looking at all the pictures on the tape.
I liked renting video games for really cheap just so I could try them out. PS2. I don't know why PS2 is in there. Low-key, even if Blockbuster was back, I wouldn't even go. Haha. That was the only person that said that, so...
I like renting all the American Girl doll movies and talking to someone to get help, and it was just some freaky pimple face fucker that didn't know shit about little girl movies. I like to get snacks and candy at the front.
Please block me. Why are you still texting me? I'm gonna have to reach out to the authorities if you keep this... What? That's so irrelevant.
Well, they had a cute concession stand there, and it wasn't so overwhelming with the choices and was easier to decide because you saw all of your choices in person, not like today.
Facts. See, I knew that people didn't like being bombarded with 300 freaking movies on Netflix. It's an illusion of choice, dude. It's not real. I feel like there's less choice fatigue. Now there is a million options. Also, everything is in one spot instead of 10 different streaming services. So goddamn real. You used to feel more like an event as a family watching a movie instead of just watching whatever you want whenever you want it. Thank you. See, these are things that I said in the video. I'm not crazy. I'm not crazy.
And this is why I personally think, well, not the only reason, but I think this is one of the main reasons why physical media is making a comeback. And we see this with like 4K Blu-rays, 4K Steelbooks selling out. They're actually making 4K players again. Dolby Vision is updating to an AI version, Dolby Vision 2. When Netflix was just by itself, or Netflix and Hulu, that's kind of like the first two that really popped off. When it was just those two, everything seemed okay. But now there's like 30 different streaming services, and they want you to pay each of them. And now, of course, they're starting to break them down and combine them now. But it's one of those things where it's like, we left cable for a cheaper, better alternative, and now streaming is becoming the new cable, and people are done with that. So they rather just have their own media and go from there. So will a video store be revived the way it is like in the past, like a brick and mortar store? I don't think so. But is it possible to see a revival in the sense of like an online store where you could, you know, rent the newest movies, they get shipped to you? I could see that happening. I know that all kind of shut down. I think there are a couple of different websites that still do that. That worked out really well for some of my buddies back in the day who couldn't afford the new games. They would do GameFly, or, you know, even some of them would do just like like Blockbuster had a version of that, and then of course Netflix was kind of the DVD version of that back in the day. I know that we are going towards a more digital world, but I don't think that physical needs to disappear altogether. Obviously, there are some elements where physical will eventually probably fizzle out. And what I mean by that is like video games. We've seen that in PCs. I don't even know anyone with a PC who actually has a disk drive still on it. A lot of that is through like Steam, Battle.net, Epic Games. So a lot of stuff on the video game realm, I could definitely see going more towards digital. Not that I want it to, but it's already kind of on its path. So I don't know if you can change that. But when it comes to media like movies and especially music, like vinyl have started taking off. Like they're selling out of vinyls, which is crazy. So it's one of those things like people want to be able to buy something and actually own it and look at it and have it on their shelf and be like, aha, that's mine. You know, I get it. I 100% get it. And I think it's one of those things where we shouldn't be looking at it as though digital is going to eventually kill physical. I think we can have a world where both exist and are healthy in their own way. Obviously, digital is going to keep on getting bigger, and physical is going to keep on getting smaller. But I do eventually think there's going to be a point where physical is kind of more of like a niche thing, but it's going to have a big enough fan base, big enough community that can keep it going and doing its own thing through like boutiques and stuff like that. So while studios might give up on physical releases, they could then license their stuff through like, you know, Arrow Video, Criterion, you know, the other boutiques that are doing a really great job with their stuff. So that might be the future. The future of physical might be boutique labels, but we'll see. It's cool to see the massive resurgence of physical media, especially just in the last few years. I know there's a big thing online where people are talking about how it's dying. If you're actually in the physical media community, there was a decline a few years ago where it did seem like it's getting worse. But now I'd say like somewhere around like 2022, 2023, we started seeing this resurgence in physical media, and now it's just getting more popular again. So I don't know how much more popular it's going to get. Obviously, it's not going to get as big as it once was, but it will be interesting to see the future of physical media, especially with this new format of Dolby Vision 2 coming, maybe hints of an 8K format eventually dropping next year or two. Lots of different rumors flying around. I'm excited to see the future of physical media, and I don't think it's the end. So that's just my personal opinion.
True, and having like a sleepover and going to pick out the movie was so cute.
And then it's this emoji. The smell and the excitement of renting something completely random, not knowing it's gonna suck, and just finding out on your own that it sucks, and vice versa. This is a big thing. I don't like how reliant we are on reviews before watching a movie. I mean, movies like Diary of a Wimpy Kid, which are cinema classics by this point, have like a 6 or something on IMDb. I wouldn't have watched it if I
like
knew it
that
had a
trilogy.
6. I thought I was going into a 10.
Diary of a Wimpy Kid trilogy is great. There's a fourth one, but we don't talk about that one.
out of 10 movie. I came out with a 10 out of 10 experience, so why should I care about the rating? It's fun to just go into things and figure them out for yourself. Stop using other people for validation, but also listen to my opinions. Also, renting video games with my brother, because if it sucked, you just gave it back, or you discovered your new favorite game, and then you asked for it for Christmas and keep it forever. It was a great place to demo games. Really big thing that I didn't even consider when going into this video, so I'm very glad that was brought up and put it back on my radar, because it's true. You can't try out games anymore. I mean, I think you can, and I'm pretty sure you probably have access to more games than ever before to just demo. My point being is you still can try them out with different services that you pay for, but you have to sit there and download it. Like, that is so annoying. I have to make space every time I want to do anything on my computer. I would love to have that experience of just wanting to play a new game, and then you go and you rent it out, you try it, and you have 2 days so you don't procrastinate, or maybe it was 5 days. You have a few days to try it out so you don't procrastinate.
Yeah, I can't remember the days.
And that was it. You popped it in, you gave it a shot, you enjoyed.
I can't remember the days either. It was I feel like they had an option for like 2 days, which was like a $5 rental. But then they had like the longer one, like the 5 days, which I think was like a $10 rental. Or what was it? It was 2 days for $5, or 5 days for 10 or 12 or something like that. I can't remember what it was, but it was something like that. But it's been so long.
Enjoyed it, or you returned it and never looked at it again. Why can't we do this anymore? And Blake Griffin, pipe the down about Gamefly. I'm not getting Gamefly. I'm not going to wait for a game to be delivered to my house. I rented games far more often than I rented movies or shows. And the main thing I remember about that is racing to reach the end of the game before my 5-day rental period was up. Oftentimes, I would get so close, but my rental would expire right before finishing it. The adrenaline rush of playing through a game you've never touched before as fast as possible would always hit hard. Yet another person craving the video game rental aspect of this thing. I don't see anyone being like, oh, I love my Game Pass subscription. Everyone hates Game Pass.
I like the idea that when you went in there, you had no idea.
All right, I don't have Game Pass anymore, but when I did, I really liked it, and it was it's a great deal. It really is super good. So I have to kind of fight back a little bit on that, on what he just said. That's why it's one of those things where, like, when it comes, you have Game Pass, you have Steam, you have the Epic Game Store. I just don't really see a reason why physical games would remain when you have something like Xbox Game Pass, where pretty much every game you ever want is on there. Not every game, obviously, but it's one of those things where that type of situation is different, because you have the Game Pass, as long as you're subscribed to it, you can play any game you want. It's not like you go back to like they just mentioned about Blockbuster, about going and having 5 days to complete a game. And some games are really long, and back in the day, you had school, then you had to do your homework. Maybe you had like a sport after school, and then you had to go to sleep and eat dinner. You might not have enough time to actually complete a game. So it is one of those things where it's like, that's interesting, but it's also kind of a negative in a way. So I don't know. I guess it depends on the person. But for me, I couldn't imagine renting like GTA San Andreas and then trying to beat that in 5 days. It's just not going to work. You're not going to get the full experience out of that game. So, some games are much more linear. You'll be able to fly through them. There used to be this like a game called Viet Cong, I think it was, and I really liked that one back in the day. And I remember I beat that in 5 days. So it depends on the game. But like I said, you can't be going to Blockbuster expecting to beat GTA in 5 days. That's just not going to happen. It's not going to happen. I mean, you could probably do it, but like I said, you had school, you had homework, you had after school sports, you had all those different variables, and you really run out of time to be able to play a game like that. So it all depends on the person.
Idea what you could find, and you would pick something solely based off how the cover looked. There wasn't a trailer to watch or any other info, and once you made your choice and took it home, you couldn't press the back button and pick something else. It forced you to see something through, even if it didn't immediately grab you.
Sorry, that's supposed to be my girl voice. So, when the story was from a girl, I'm not very good at it. I should learn from the drive-through guy.
I think you work. I think it works good
with a girl voice.
It sounds
really
good.
At it.
Hold on, you sound hella cute. I'm so sorry.
But that last one is very true. It goes back to that having too much information. We're not really making decisions based off of our own instinct. It's all just what are people online saying. But again, if it comes to my decision, you definitely should check out what I'm talking about, especially How To with John Wilson. If you haven't seen that, dude, get your shit together, go watch it. Video rental stores were really a special place, and I don't know how many people would go back to them if they were still around. I know 90% certainty that I would. Yeah, it's more inconvenient to drive somewhere and look around and try to find something, and you might not even find the movie that you originally wanted, but I don't know, there's fun in that. I mean, clearly other people can agree. It's not fun to know everything about a movie before you go into it. This was a physical place you went to that had one purpose: serving you on movie night. When it comes to a store dedicated to just fun, it's hard to kind of hate on it. Like other places like Walmart, like, yeah, probably not the best place. It looks depressing in there. I hate going in there and I don't want to ever do it again. But for Blockbuster, you were only going in there for a good time, you know? You weren't rushing in to get those circle things for your corn toes. I mean, I'm sure there's probably cases where a parent had to rush to Blockbuster because their kid was violently crying about wanting to watch Bob the Builder, the movie, and they would not stop until they got it. But an emergency Blockbuster visit is not going to be as bad as an emergency Walmart visit. There's just no way. I think we're too quick to abandon something for the sake of convenience and not really think about, well, is the convenience really worth it? Because for me, I don't know if it is. Paying for like 5 different streaming services and not even having the movie I want every time is just, what is the point? What is the point?
See, that's a great question he brings up there is, we all want to have video stores back, but would we actually go? I know I'd probably go, but I wouldn't go that much. It's the Muppet effect. This thing where it's like, we all know what the Muppets are. We all like the Muppets. We all appreciate the Muppets. And we all want the Muppets to live forever. But no one actually watches the Muppets. Do you understand? So it's one of those things like, we all like it, we want it to stay, but no one watches it. And if no one watches it, then it won't stay forever. I love the video stores, but if people don't use the video stores can't remain, right? So, I mean, it's the Muppet effect. You're welcome.
Everything gets moved around. I don't need to get into streaming services, but you get what I'm saying. I'm really trying not to look at it through like a nostalgic lens. I'm trying to be objective about this thing. But when I think back to 3 nights ago when I had a movie night in here, we still had to go out and get snacks and stuff. Why not also grab the movie while we were there? We could have done it all in one place and it wouldn't have looked like a live leak video anytime it got slightly dim in the movie. Not to mention trying to log in, dude. Oh my God. And sometimes streaming services don't want to work on specific browsers. What is that? Video rental stores mattered. I know so many people that were still going to them as they died. It wasn't like everyone was on board for the whole streaming thing. We were slowly being moved over, but I still found a lot of joy in going to an actual place to get my movies. The funny thing is there are still a handful of video rental stores around here that have been going for quite a while and don't show any signs of stopping, so there still is a market for it. Video rental stores were a special place, and I believe they were an important part of our culture. Go ahead and give that subscribe button a little chondle if you want to see these videos every week. You can also check out my Instagram and newly launched TikTok. I also have a store with all these things that I made on it. Check that out if you're interested. And thank you so much for watching till the end.
Excellent video there, Sean. I'm going to give you a subscribe. Very solid. Definitely go check out his channel. I'll leave a link to this video in the description below. Informative video, and also a video that makes you think, makes you reminisce. I think that's a very important thing. There's a song, I forget the actual name of the song, but the song goes, "You paved paradise and put up a parking lot." And what that means is what we had was special. What we have now is more efficient. So you have to wonder the question, is it better to have the efficiency that is Netflix or, you know, streaming in general? But in doing so, we killed what made it special, right? I don't know. It's a good question to ponder a little bit. Let me know in the comments below, guys. Would you go back to a video store if they started opening up again? Let's say a Blockbuster just kind of came out of nowhere, full charge, they tried it out. How would you do it? I think I would go a lot more if it was a cheap rental. If the rental was actually cheap, I would definitely do it. But if it was too expensive, then we'll see about that. Let me know in the comments below if you want to check out any more of my videos. I have them right here around my head, floating around. Go ahead and click those links. And till next time, guys, I'll catch you later. Peace.